The Lost Child of Hollow Woods. It was a crisp autumn evening when young Lucy wandered into Hollow Woods. The village had always warned children to stay away from the forest, but Lucy was different. She was brave, adventurous, and too curious for her own good. The villagers often spoke of strange occurrences in the woods, voices on the wind, shadows that moved without cause, and figures that were sometimes seen lurking just beyond the trees. But Lucy didn't believe in such things. She had heard the stories from her grandmother, but she thought they were nothing more than old tales to keep children in line. She had always wanted to see the woods for herself, to discover what lay hidden beneath the thick canopy of ancient trees. One day, as the sun began to set, Lucy, her mind full of wonder and excitement, slipped away from her home. She knew she shouldn't be there, but she was determined to prove that there was nothing to fear. She entered the forest, the air turning cooler as she ventured deeper. At first, everything was peaceful. The forest seemed alive with the sounds of birds and rustling leaves. But the further Lucy went, the quieter it became. The trees, old and gnarled, began to close in around her, their shadows stretching long across the ground. The path that had once seemed so clear began to disappear, swallowed by the thick underbrush. Lucy didn't notice at first, but soon she realized she had no idea where she was. The familiar sounds of the village were gone, replaced by an eerie silence. The trees seemed to grow taller, their branches twisting into dark shapes above her. A cold chill swept through the air, and she pulled her coat tighter around her shoulders. Just as she was about to turn back, a strange sound caught her attention. A soft, melodic voice calling her name. It was faint, almost like a whisper, but unmistakable. "Lucy, come closer." Lucy froze. Her heart raced as the voice echoed through the trees. It wasn't anyone she recognized, but it sounded almost familiar, almost comforting. Her curiosity got the better of her. Slowly, she began to walk toward the sound, each step feeling heavier than the last. The deeper she walked, the more the voice seemed to surround her, echoing from all directions. "Lucy, come closer. We've been waiting for you." The trees seemed to shift as if they were alive, guiding her deeper into the forest. Lucy didn't see the danger. She was entranced by the voice, her steps growing more and more uncertain as the light began to fade. She didn't notice the shadows growing darker around her, didn't hear the rustling of the leaves turning into something more sinister. As she entered a clearing, Lucy saw something that stopped her in her tracks. A figure, tall and thin, standing perfectly still in the center of the clearing. It had no face, only a shadowy outline, like the shape of a person without form. The voice was louder now, echoing from the figure itself. "Lucy, we've been waiting for you." Lucy tried to back away, but her legs felt as though they were glued to the ground. The figure began to move, slowly at first, its form swirling in the air like smoke. With each step it took, the forest grew colder, the air heavier, until the very ground beneath Lucy's feet seemed to groan with an unnatural weight. "Why did you come here?" the voice whispered, now deep and distorted. "Why did you come into our home?" Lucy's mind raced as fear surged through her. She tried to run, but the trees closed in on her, the path disappearing, leaving her disoriented and lost. The forest wasn't just a place. It was a living thing, and now it was angry. The voice, now more a growl than a whisper, seemed to be everywhere. "We've been waiting, Lucy. We've been waiting for a long time. You shouldn't have come. You shouldn't have listened." The ground beneath her feet shifted as if something was rising, something ancient and powerful, eager to claim her as its own. Lucy felt herself being pulled toward the center of the clearing, the shadows of the trees stretching toward her like fingers. With a cry, Lucy tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. The figure reached out, its shadowy tendrils wrapping around her, pulling her deeper into the darkness of the forest. The last thing she saw was the shape of the figure, its form now fully materialized, its face a void of emptiness. Then, nothing. The next morning, when the villagers woke, they found no sign of Lucy. Her parents searched the woods, calling her name, but the trees remained silent. The path she had taken was gone, swallowed by the forest as if it had never been there. Days passed and Lucy was never found. The villagers whispered that she had gone into Hollow Woods and that the forest had taken her as it had taken others before. They spoke of the strange whispers that could still be heard on the wind, calling for anyone who dared to listen. They said that if you stood still in the woods at night, you